back. Today I'm doing my monthly favorites for the month of February. I was gonna say February went by really fast, but honestly I feel like February just went by in a normal amount of time. Like at the end of every month I always have to decide, did it go by fast or slow? But sometimes the month just is what it was. Like it just progressed at a natural speed, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to show you the things that I've been reaching for this month, including some clothing and some beauty products, and then after that I'm going to move into more media-based things like books and film and other things that I consumed this month. So I'm going to start with some of my most worn clothing items this month. I've been loving these Ref cardigans, and I've talked about the Reformation cardigans before, and I have this in a few different colors. This month I got these adorable Argyle print cardigans. I actually have them in two different colors. I know that's excessive, but like I love a nerdy little sweater, a nerdy little cardigan. Like I'll take them in all the colors and I will wear them a lot. Like they will get used. So I have this adorable gray one with the navy blue Argyle, and then I also recently got this blue and green Argyle cardigan, and I think these both just like perfectly match my style so much. So I went to New York this month, so I had more of a reason to wear thicker outerwear. So one of my favorites was this tweed coat that I have, and I've had this for a long time actually. This was my great grandmother's coat, so it has such sentimental value to me. I just think it's such a beautiful coat. It's so unique. If you're curious, the brand is Edward Chapman, and I love anything that has sentimental value. I'm a sentimental girl. I also got so many compliments, like real in-person compliments, as I was wearing this coat. It was my great-grandma's, and then it was my grandma's, and now it is mine. Another favorite of mine this month is this Reformation blue floral dress, and I actually got this back in October, and I've been waiting for an excuse to wear it. It's so beautiful, and to be honest, I hardly ever get opportunities in my life to really like dress up. I went to an event in New York and I was like, this is absolutely the perfect dress for that. It's so elegant and comfortable. I love the like browns and the blues together. I just think it's such a beautiful dress. I've been loving this gray pleated skirt from Elfsack as well. I think it's so perfect. It just like integrates perfectly into my wardrobe. My everyday bag this month is this one that I thrifted at a flea market in Paris last year in February, and I've definitely shown you guys this bag before on my channel. It's one of my favorite bags in my wardrobe. This just happened to be my everyday bag this month. I think it's just the perfect size. It's the perfect soft leather. The brand is Lamar, which is a French brand, and I love it. It's the perfect drop length as well, you guys. When I buy a bag, that like one of the most important things to me is just like the length from here to here on your shoulder and how that can just comfortably fit. I hate bags that are like up to my armpit, you know? It's like there has to be a good drop length, and it holds so much stuff on the inside as well. It's amazing. Another bag that I did really love this month, and I only wore it once this month, but it was whenever I wore that dress, I wore this bag with it, and I think they just looked so cute together. And I love a little bag like this that just has that top handle, and just carrying it around like this, I feel like it could be a weapon if I need to use it as that. This one's from Reformation. When I saw it online, I actually thought it was going to be like a little mini bag, like just like a teeny tiny bag that I could hold like my phone and a few cards. So when I got it, I was pleasantly surprised that this is like quite a large bag. I can fit my entire Canon camera in here, which is amazing. It's definitely going to become my go-to like dress up bag. So my next favorite is two pairs of shoes from Vivaye, which I am so excited about this because they are kindly sponsoring today's video, and I've always wanted to try these shoes. I see them everywhere. They are stylish, sustainable, and so comfortable. The first pair is the Margot Mary Jane 3.0. One thing about me is that I always love a Mary Jane style. They just always integrate perfectly into my wardrobe, and I love that this pair has a little bit of a feminine edge with the buckle detail on the strap. Vivaye is known for making both stylish and comfortable shoes, but they're comfortable without being too clunky. I can walk all day in these without my feet hurting because of the bouncy sole and built-in cushion. They're also super breathable, so I think they would be perfect, especially as we're getting into spring. And if they get dirty, you can just throw them in the washing machine and they will be good as new. The next pair I've been loving is the Sneakerina Christina sneaker. I desperately needed these because I literally don't have a pair of sneakers in my wardrobe. It's always so hard to find sneakers that fit my aesthetic, but these are so feminine and chic. They just fit in perfectly with my wardrobe, kind of like having a ballet flat that's on sports mode. I actually think these would be the perfect shoes for traveling as well. Not only are they super comfortable for walking around, they also fold up, so they would be really easy to just throw in a carry-on bag. Again, I love them because they're not too clunky. My foot is a little bit on the wider side, so when I wear these I feel like I can still achieve that sleek, narrow look. These shoes do also come in a few other colors as well, so if you're interested, I do have a discount code. It's just Romney. For the first few days after I post this, it'll be 12% off, and then after that it'll be 10% off. I will of course link these down below. Thank you so much for Godiva for sponsoring today's video. So next I want to talk about a few beauty products that I've been loving. I recently mentioned that I've been using Olaplex shampoo and conditioner, but I don't like to use it every single time that I wash my hair. I use it every other time. So I had been looking for some good products to use on those in-between washes, and I've been loving this L'Oreal shampoo. This is the Glycolic Gloss Shine Boosting Shampoo and Conditioner. I love the pink bottles, by the way. It just like makes me really happy. And then this is a leave-in shine serum. I feel like it gives me a shiny, healthy appearance to my hair. However, part of that healthy appearance to my hair is also the fact that I just got a little bit trimmed off the bottom, so I feel like that like automatically makes your hair look more healthy. If you're looking for a good drugstore product, I definitely recommend it. For makeup, I've been using Chanel products this month because I got sent a few items. This mascara is probably like the best mascara I've ever used. First of all, I like how it opens. You just like press it in and then it pops out. But what is really special about this mascara to me is that it's a burgundy mascara. I feel like it looks good with my eyes, and I've tried brown mascara before and I also really like that. I think the formula is really good as well. We'll definitely want to keep trying burgundy mascaras now. I've also been using this eye and face palette from Chanel. I've been really into like pink and red eyeshadows, so I've been using this one, and then it also works as blush, so I usually kind of use all of these on my eyes, and then I'll go in with this color right here for my blush. Of course, I want to talk about my fragrance favorites this month. This one is the Maison Margiela Replica perfume, which of course I always love, but they just came out with a new scent. This is Chasing Sunsets. It's so sweet in like a juicy way that it like feels refreshing to put on my skin. It makes me just want to like sit outside and drink a cold glass of juice and read a book in the summertime. I also got sent this new Prada perfume, which is really, I think the bottle is very, very beautiful. I do love like just like a classic feminine vintage inspired bottle. As soon as I smelled this, I fell in love. It's a chai latte and citrus, which might sound like a really strange combination, but I feel like sometimes those strange combinations just make for like the best scents. It's equal parts warm because of the chai latte, but also refreshing because of the citrus notes. Another fragrance I love, which I've actually been wearing for a long time, I've mentioned it in a favorites video last year. This is Orebella Eternal Roots, and this is a perfume that's essential oil based, so it's so soothing. It literally feels like sitting by a waterfall or something. It has a really tropical vibe to it that's super duper relaxing. It doesn't have any like headache inducing additives in it. So what I've been doing actually with this one lately is after I shower, I put on lotion, and then I'll like spray like every part of my body, like my arms, my neck, and I'll even do some on my legs, and I'll just like rub it in, and it's so soothing, and I feel like I just like smell so good coming out. I already smell good coming out of the shower, of course, but like then adding that on top just like solidifies all of those good smells, and then I just sleep in all those essential oils, and I just love it so much. I also was wearing this when I was in London, so every time I smell it, it reminds me of London. Okay, I have two random miscellaneous items. This is probably one of the best purchases I've ever made. And this is a Memo bottle, and it's just a water bottle. It's sleek and thin, so I can put it in my bag without it being too heavy and clunky and weighing me down. I carry water wherever I go. I'm thirsty all the time. It's not even a thing where I'm like, oh, I have to drink more water to be healthy. I'm literally thirsty all the time. Like, I probably drink too much water, if that's possible. The thing is, I always carry like books and journals with me and stuff like that, and since this is kind of like has the same width of a book or a journal, it just like fits in right next to them, and it's just so amazing. I bought it at the Museum of Fine Arts gift shop. As soon as I bought it, I was like, this is really good use of my money. Another favorite of mine is a Bridgerton feather pen, and this has been my #1 writing utensil this month. I feel very magical and very whimsical as I'm writing in my diary with this. Like, I just love the way it like the tail just like shakes as I'm writing things. Okay, moving into more media-based things. First, I'm going to talk about all of the books that I read this month. I read 4 books this month, so I feel like I had a pretty good reading month, and I'm really happy about all of the books I read. They were all so fantastic. 2 of them were actually rereads. The thing about me is I like to reread books. If I love a book, I'll read it again and again and again. I feel like I can deepen my understanding of the thing that I love, and then that just like enriches my life even more. I did make some notes on my computer here about each one of them, so if you see me glancing down, that's what I'm looking at. First, I'm going to talk about Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector, because I actually finished this morning, so it's a little bit fresher on my mind. This was actually my second time reading it. I bought this book last year when I was in Paris, and I read it while I was there, and I just absolutely fell in love with Clarice's writing style. She's brilliant. She was born in 1920. She was born in Ukraine, but she was actually lived most of her life in Brazil. Agua Viva is kind of difficult to explain, but I would describe it as an unfiltered meditation or stream of consciousness about creation, God, life, time, and everything that revolves around the topic of existence. Her words are hypnotic and bewitching. She's also a painter, so she describes the way in which images come alive in her mind. I would say this is a 5-star read. In fact, every single book that I've read by Clarice Lispector would be a 5-star read for me. I really recommend Near to the Wild Heart and Hour of the Star as well. I plan on reading more of her books when I go to Paris next week, so I'm really excited about that. It's only 88 pages, so if you're looking for a really short yet meaningful, impactful book, I really recommend this one. At the very beginning of the month, I read Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I think that's how you say his name. This book has been on my reading list for so long, so finally I was like, let me just go ahead and read it. I had heard so much praise about the prose in this novel, and it definitely did not disappoint on that end. Even though the story is super disturbing, I would say it's objectively very good writing, which made my reading experience of it enjoyable. It's probably not a book I will ever read again. Like it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I love this so much I have to keep rereading it throughout my life sort of thing. Definitely not that, but I do feel like it's kind of required reading at this point for anyone that loves literature, so I'm happy to have read it. I also finished Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. I've been immersed in the Bronte world this past month, of course. I'm sure a lot of people are as well. Anne is the youngest of the sisters. She's not as popular as Charlotte and Emily, but in my opinion she is just as talented of a writer as them. I think she's a little less popular because her books tend to be a little less shocking and gothic. Her stories remind me a bit more of Jane Austen's style of writing, usually lower stakes situations but with a lot of social and class commentary weaved into it. Agnes Grey is about a young woman who becomes a governess to help provide for her family. So she ends up living with 2 different families throughout the book, and they both just treat her horribly, and she kind of just has to like persevere through it all. But the second family she goes to live with, she ends up becoming friends with a curate who lives in the village, and he kind of ends up being one of the only people that is kind to her, and of course she starts to fall in love with him. But at this point she's been so kicked down by everyone around her that she's like, there's no possible way that he could love me back. So it kind of becomes this not necessarily unrequited but unexpressed love and desire. But of course, spoiler alert, they end up together and he likes her back, and it's very sweet. I enjoyed this book quite a bit. I prefer Tenet of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte actually, but I still recommend this one. It's a pretty quick read. It's only 168 pages. I have the New Page Classics edition. I chose this one out because I love the cover. Okay, it's time to talk about Wuthering Heights. I read Wuthering Heights for the second time this month, and my second time reading it has honestly just solidified for me that this is just one of the best novels ever written. It breaks my heart that Emily Bronte died only a year after it was published. Not only because her life ended quickly, which is tragic, but I also just finished reading a book like this, and it just makes me want to read more of her work, but we don't really have that much to cling on to, which is really sad. I'm going to talk about the book and the movie a little bit at the same time. To me, this book not only is before its time, but it really transcends time. If you've only seen the movie, you may not know this, but Catherine dies halfway through the book, and then she spends the rest of the book just haunting Heathcliff, and I feel like that haunting aspect of the book just like absolutely transcends itself, because this story stays with you and will continue to haunt you for the rest of your life. It keeps getting remade into different film adaptations. In a way, it's sort of always like haunting the world. It keeps coming back up because it always has something new to say. It always has something modern and different to say. I think that's why we just like keep making so many different adaptations. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I did love the film as well. I thought it was aesthetically beautiful. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but for me, I think one of the key devices about Wuthering Heights is the fact that it's an unreliable narrator at all times. Any film adaptation of Kathy and Heathcliff's story is inherently going to be fan fiction. I personally don't need film adaptations to be true to the book. To be honest, nothing that you can ever watch on screen is going to compare to the experience of reading a book. And it's not because filmmakers are lesser than storytellers of authors and novelists, but I feel like when you read a book, you're in the story. You're creating the images in your mind. Your mind is also filling in the gaps of what isn't being said or spoken. I know I don't need to explain to you guys like the magic of reading, but this is just something I've been thinking about with the film adaptation coming out. I guess my point is that I personally like watching film book adaptations to experience what other people interpret a book as and to see the imagery come to life in a tangible way. So I will leave you with a recommendation to go read Wuthering Heights. Speaking of Emily Bronte, I also want to talk about some of her poetry because I've been reading Emily Bronte poetry this month. While it's tragic that we only have one novel from Emily, we do have quite a bit of her poetry to enjoy, so I really recommend this as well. Emily was known to be very introverted, which, let's be honest, like a lot of poets are, but her introversion to me almost feels like an act of bravery and defiance against social norms. She has a very wild quietness. It's such a beautiful juxtaposition, and I think you see that a lot in her work. I'm gonna read Remembrance to you guys because this one in particular thematically feels very, very tied to Wuthering Heights. Cold in the earth and the deep snow piled above thee, far, far removed, cold in the dreary grave. Have I forgot my only love, to love thee, severed at last by time's all-severing wave? Now, when alone, do my thoughts no longer hover over the mountains on that northern shore, resting their wings where heath and fern leaves cover thy noble heart forever, evermore. Cold in the earth and 15 wild Decembers from those brown hills have melted into spring. Faithful indeed is the spirit that remembers after such years of change and suffering. Sweet love of youth, forgive if I forget thee, while the world's tide is bearing me along. Other desires, other hopes beset me, hopes which obscure but cannot do thee wrong. No later light has lightened up my heaven, no second morn has ever shone for me. All my life's bliss from the dear life was given, all my life's bliss is in the grave with thee. But when the days of golden dreams have perished, and even despair was powerless to destroy, then did I learn how existence could be cherished, strengthened, and fed with the aid of joy. Then did I check the tears of useless passion, wean my young soul from the yearning after thine, sternly denied its burning wish to hasten down to that tomb already more than mine. And even yet I dare not let it languish, dare not indulge in memory's rapturous pain, once drinking deep of that divinest anguish, how could I seek the empty world again? Yeah, that one to me is like not only a direct tie to Wuthering Heights, but definitely like a meditation on grief as well, which I'm sure she was, well, we know she was very familiar with grief in that sense, and that grief definitely shows up a lot in her work as well. That's all of the books and poems and literature we're going to talk about today. I already talked about Wuthering Heights film, but the other movies I watched this month were The Cheetah Girls and Zootopia. So that's a pretty accurate depiction of like the kind of things I get into. It's Wuthering Heights, it's classic literature, and then it's the Cheetah Girls and Zootopia and things of that nature. On Valentine's Day weekend, I had a little celebration with my 3 best friends, and they came over and we had a Cheetah Girls marathon, and it was fantastic. We only watched Cheetah Girls 1 and 2 though, because 3 just like isn't in our vocabulary. The Cheetah Girls is so iconic. Like really, that is like, I remember watching that as a young child, and just that's where like the diva in me was born. I took my little sister to see Zootopia 2, except neither one of us had seen Zootopia 1, so we watched Zootopia 2 and then we watched Zootopia 1 after that when we got home. Such cute movies. I love them. That's all I have for today's video. My next video, I'll be in Paris, so stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, I would love to know what you guys have been loving this month, so definitely let me know in the comments down below. I always love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!